Hello, I'm Zach, and I'm going to be talking about rainforest destruction. My proposition is that decreasing humankind's direct destruction of the rainforest will not be sufficient to protect its future sustainability, as indirect destruction alone will succeed in detrimentally reducing it in the years to come. For clarification, the most influential ways that we directly destroy the rainforest are for clearing for cattle ranching, mainly by slash and burn, which is just using fires to clear the land. Clearing for agriculture, which is becoming more and more prevalent these days. Logging for timber. Mining for precious metals and minerals. Searching for oil deposits, and flooding as a byproduct of damming. And the indirect destruction is caused by global warming, which is half caused by the amount of rainforest that we have destroyed until now. To support my proposition, I will be making the claim that in order to ultimately counter a dieback of the rainforest, we must stop deforestation and cut down on our impact toward global warming. This dieback that I refer to is defined as the substitution of rainforests with savanna-like and semi-arid geography due to the changing climate. According to the Union of Concerned Scientists, reducing tropical deforestation has contributed the most to slowing down global warming than any other effort to date. Conveniently enough, 17% of greenhouse gas emissions are caused by deforestation via the cessation of carbon absorption, as well as the emission of carbon dioxide when the trees are burned or left to decompose. That information is from Topher White of TED, which is Technology, Entertainment, and Design. That's really learned from TED Talks. This fact implies that stopping deforestation will be a great step in the right direction for the immediate mitigation of rainforest destruction. However, we will still be left in a deficit of carbon-absorbing trees, which would contribute to climate change over time. Consequently, we must make efforts to replace as much of the already cleared forest as possible, as well as replacing the cleared rainforest will help reboot the carbon cycle that's driven by photosynthesizing trees. My second supporting claim is that in order to stop deforestation, another means of obtaining resources must take place, which is where renewable energy comes in. Renewable energy is defined as energy that is generated from natural processes and that are continuously replenished, which includes sunlight, geothermal heat, wind, tides, water, and various forms of biomass. The importance of this type of energy is that it cannot be exhausted and is constantly being renewed by nature. While sources at The Economist newspaper state their opinion that renewable energy is too expensive to replace non-renewable resources, Tom Randall at Bloomberg.com believes that it's already happening. According to this same source, the cost of solar power has been reduced to 1/150th of the cost since the 1970s, and there has been 115,000 times more units installed in 2015 than in 1975. The tangible application of that technology has proven to be successful in that since the year 2000, the amount of global production of energy provided by wind and solar power have doubled several times over, while fossil fuel consumption in the major countries of the world has and continues to decline. To conclude, in order to save the rainforest, which is the world's most efficient and effective atmospheric cleanser, we must immediately halt all deforestation, we must replenish the trees that have already been cleared, and we must learn to rely on renewable energy resources instead of non-renewable resources. Thank you. It's okay, not being stable?
Yeah. All right, Zach, the proposition that you presented at the beginning of the speech is really complicated. It's got dependent clauses. It goes on. It sounds like it's reversing itself. It's way too confusing. At the end of the speech, the summary, though, makes it so much clearer. You kind of rescue your speech a little bit by the exit that you have, explaining what it is that's necessary in order for us to reverse the effects of deforestation. You preview the supporting points to some degree, but most of your preview really consists of an explanation of what deforestation is as opposed to a layout of the structure. Once again, I think in the body of the speech, it was not as clearly labeled as it needed to be, but in the summary of the speech, you have a good review that reminds us of what the points were supposed to be. So I think that you've got it structured. In other words, you're presenting the information in a sequence, but it's not well labeled in the body of the speech. But at the end of the speech, you fix that a little bit with your exit summary. Some good examples are illustrated in your point. You've got some statistical information. Basically, your argument comes down to our failure to take these options will lead to, the end of the rainforest, or will lead ultimately to huge problems. And it's a pseudo policy claim, but the argument is really that these are the only ways to address those particular issues. I have a question, though, when I'm listening to your information about using alternative energies, for instance, since it sounds like we are going in that direction and it's happening substantial. Is this really a problem? It sounds like we are already doing the thing that you think that we need to do. So you're simply describing the actions of the present system in addressing this issue, as opposed to why there is a need to do something different. And so that was a little bit confusing. The impact that deforestation has on the environment, I think, is a little vague. I mean, there's some description about the carbon cycle and the impact that it would have on anthropogenic global warming, but that's a very distant explanation that's going on there. I think you needed a little bit more explanation, and like I said, the secondary claims. At the end of the speech, it's a clearer argument than it was during the speech. And you did supply some evidence, so that I thought was pretty good. You did a relatively nice job talking to the audience, although sometimes it was unclear as to the point that you were trying to make. All right, thank you.